Mary Wu. She's a principal data scientist at Microsoft, a tech lead for Windows experimental platform. She has been working at Microsoft for 7 years in various domains. Prior to Microsoft, she got a master's degree in finance and bachelor's degree in statistics at Financial Math. She will be taking up, our topic is on collective wisdom on career growth for data scientists. And what more than listening to somebody that has been in different career fields for 7 years. Let's give it up for Mary Wu. And guys, as we move on, please continue to tweet, share about the event, what you're learning, what you're doing. Tag us at Tweet Abuja. So Mary Wu, please, you can go on next.
Hello everyone, I am Mary. It is my great honor to be here and speak to you at this Women Data Science conference. My talk today will be about demystifying data science. Before we start, just a little bit about myself. My name is Mary. I was born and grew up in Beijing, China, and then went to America for study. So in the past years, I've lived in Beijing, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, in Reno, Nevada, and now I live in Kirkland, Washington State. I started as an intern at Microsoft Finance team on the Worldwide Credit Services team for a year. It's a very different internship program than the corporate one today. And in that 1 year, I was basically functioning as a project manager and data analyst. Through the end of the internship, I was looking for full-time jobs, and I started interviewing with data science positions and landed on this data science role as the core data science team for Windows and devices. And since then, I've been on this same team for over 7 years now. So now I'm a principal data scientist on the Windows and devices core data team. I enjoy outdoor activities now. I like hiking, I like fishing, also like all different types of things when there's the sun, which is not very common in Seattle area. And every once in a while, go fishing in Alaska, and it's usually gets me quite some fish. So currently in my role at Microsoft, I focus on experimentation. I'm the tech lead for this thing called Windows Experimentation Platform, which enables our Windows engineers to understand the business impact and customer impact of their features through randomized control trials. So for today, I'm going to give a nutshell of what data science work looks like at Microsoft. And then I'm going to share some collective wisdom that we got from all past Women Data Science events we hosted at Microsoft regarding career growth. So what is data science? When at Microsoft, when we think about data, we think about it in this pyramid. So from the bottom to the top, you have different types of data science positions and data science problems to solve. At the very bottom, which is very fundamental, foundational, and very critical to the business, you need to be able to collect the right data and count the right numbers. Believe me, counting is so hard. It is harder than anything. It's harder than you expect. You need to be able to design measures and instrumentations, getting reliable data pipelines and systems in place, getting the right descriptive statistics, and be able to protect your customers' privacy. And then you move up to the pyramid, you go to exploration and transformation. That usually happens before you can build any models. You need to do some data cleaning, data preparation, and get some basic insights by doing some exploratory data analysis. And then you move into clustering and classification, in which some of the methodologies and models that you guys are familiar with will come into play. K-means, hierarchical model, LDAs, NLPs, regressions, different types of tree models, they all fit into this layer. And then you go slightly up a bit, you go into hypothesis testing and causal inference. This is where the A/B testing falls under. And also we have controlled feature rollout or causal inference methodologies where A/B testing is not visible. And then on the very top, you have AI, and that is when you can learn and optimize on the go. That has more fancier methodologies like neural nets, deep learning, reinforcement learning, all different types of methodologies. Every single layer of this pyramid is very important and is very critical to the success of a business. So what is the data scientist position at Microsoft and how do they fit? How do we function? So as data scientists at Microsoft, we need to be a full stack data scientist. We need to be able to start all the way from design measures, extract data, clean the raw data, do some statistics modeling, do machine learnings, pick your models, run A/B tests, understanding the business needs, doing reporting and visualization, and drive for impact. There are multiple disciplines that we would collaborate closely with on a day-to-day basis. One discipline is data engineers, and usually data engineers consist multiple titles as well. Some companies call them developers and drive for impact. There are multiple disciplines that we would collaborate closely with on a day-to-day basis. One discipline is data engineers, and usually data engineers consist multiple titles as well. Some companies call them developers, some companies call them software engineers, and within this discipline also have program managers who would focus on data systems. And this discipline would majorly focus on design, build data infrastructure, build data-driven apps for informed decisions, and focus on large scale and reliability of different platforms. Another discipline that we work very closely with is data analysts. And they usually are embedded in different product teams, and they're the so-called subject matter experts. They know their product really well. They design the metrics. Of course, we work with them to help together design the metrics. And they will do a lot of the deep dive data analysis from structured data streams. They'll do data reporting, visualization, and reporting on certain findings. They have very strong communication skills. And if you take a deeper look, you will see that for all three disciplines, drive for impact is a constant theme as part of the job description. And they all collaborate and work very closely with each other. Usually when we staff a project at Microsoft, we would have all disciplines involved to ensure we cover all different angles from a business perspective. And we all work together with the goal of making an impact with data for our customers. And when we think about what a successful data scientist looks like, we think about it from a T-shaped framework. So you need to have both soft skills and technical skills. Soft skills meaning you need to be able to collaborate with other teams. You need to have strong communication skills. You need to have the drive for impact and success. You need to be able to understand a domain that you may not be as familiar with. Try to help them solve the problem with your data skills. That's the consulting skills we say. And from a technical perspective, you need to really go deep in the technical space, all the way from data preparation, statistics, machine learning, coding, all those things you need to have your specialty in. So that's what we think makes a successful data scientist at Microsoft. So in my time at Microsoft, in addition to being the tech lead for the Windows experimentation platform, I'm also the co-founder for the Microsoft Women Data Science community. And our mission is empower everyone in the data-related roles to achieve their full potential. And as part of our community, we welcome both women and women's allies, which is part of the reason why I'm here today talking to you at this great Women Data Science community here. So our Women Data Science community at Microsoft, we started around 4 years ago as a workshop. And since then, we hosted 7 community events, 8 consecutive machine learning, AI, and data science conference workshops, and several mentorship programs. Now we have already over 800 active community members. So through all of our events, we invite all different people to come be our panelists and fireside chat speakers. We invited data scientists, data science managers, program managers, engineering managers, senior executives, and we also have both internal to Microsoft and external speakers. We've had a couple professors from universities to come and talk. We've also had a lot of the industry leaders from different companies such as Airbnb, Twitter, Airbnb and Twitter come and give the talk. So from all those companies, we have learned a lot. Oh, another one I was missing out on was LinkedIn. So we've had speakers from all different companies. And so for today, I'm going to share some of the learnings we got from all those different speakers, like in all those different events. Our communities have shared some of the questions they have, which are very commonly asked as in my career experience. And we've gathered a lot of great wisdom from the variety of speakers we've had to our events. So we've summarized some of the wisdom from them. I'm going to share here with all of you so that you can all benefit from the collected wisdom from those speakers. So on career growth, the first question that we always get is depth or breadth? That is the question. We know that, as we just showed in the data pyramid, there are so many different aspects to data science discipline. There is machine learning, there is experimentation, there is causal inference, there is data analytics and reporting, and even just within machine learning itself, there is supervised learning, there is unsupervised learning, there is deep learning, there is reinforcement learning. There are just way too many different methodologies. Some people want to be generalist and know something about every single methodology, and some people will rather go deep and be the go-to person for, say, experimentation. So which one is a better way to succeed in this discipline? We've asked these questions to some of our panelists and fireside chat speakers, and here are the answers we got. The first is you need to ask yourself what you want to do. It's really important that you understand what you want and follow your heart. And the second answer we got is both are fine and both are important, but it's good to have a specialty area, which resonates with the third answer, which is you need to be good at something. Data science is a transferable skill, and knowledge to new areas is important. So people recommend that you know something, you know a little bit about everything, but at the same time you go deep in one thing that you really like or really passionate about or really need to use in your day job, so that you have both the breadth and the depth. The second question we often got is transition from individual contributor to managers. As you grow into mid-career or more senior roles, sometimes this question of do you want to be a manager would come, and how would you think about that? And we've got some good answers from our speakers. The first is that the mentality and instinct of jumping right into data to solve the problem is no longer working. You need to always remind yourself that solving the problem directly may not be the best use of your time. You must learn to let go of specific work and let someone else solve the problem. There's always the saying that whenever a manager tries to solve a problem, he or she is taking an opportunity from one of their direct reports. So that is a big mindset shifting. The second answer we got is scalability becomes a critical skill. So unlike what we heard from the first answer, this person is saying that you actually get more individual contributor work on top of the management work you need to do. So at that point, being able to manage your time and be able to scale becomes really important. And the third answer is that regardless of you're an expert in a space or not, you need to really talk to your people, understand where he or she is coming from, what the problem is, what the solution is, and what the impact is. And in forums that you sit in, in front of your peers or external teams, you need to be the advocate for that work. The fourth answer is that being a manager requires you to be more patient with the team than you are with yourself. For example, as an IC, it's actually great if you can learn something super quickly and apply it to a real-world problem like immediately. That's awesome, like you're rewarded for it. However, the minute you become a manager, you cannot expect everyone on the team to do the same. You must be more patient. You need to adapt to all different people's styles and paces so that the team culture is healthy and everyone grow together. And the last answer we got on this question is, a key skill needed to succeed in the manager role is to have transferable skills in informal coaching and mentoring a wide range of other people. Different people will have different styles, and you need to be able to adapt to their styles when you're trying to coach them or give them ideas. Some people need to be encouraged to be motivated. Some people need to be criticized to be productive. It all depends. And as a manager, you need to adapt. Another question we often got is the balance between technical excellence and business acumen. Because a lot of the people that we invited to our panelist events are actually CVP level or executive level people at Microsoft or from external companies or like deans at different universities. One of the questions that our community members are curious about is that how can they remain relevant in the technical space as they focus and spend so much time in driving the business itself? So the first answer we got here is that you own your own career path and you own your own learning path. You need to decide what is important to learn at different stages of your career and make prioritization decisions. For example, early in your career, you may focus really heavily on building up your technical excellence, reading a lot of papers, doing a lot of coding. Whatever your domain is, just go really deep into that so that your foundation is really solid. And as you grow into your mid-career, you sort of find a balance between being the domain expert in the space and growing other people in the same space. And as you grow more senior into your career, you may think about more about the business acumen part, how to drive a business, what do other stakeholders think, and you may focus less on your own technical excellence. And the second answer we got is that you can set up very concrete goals every 6 months, and you make your goal public with your team. You tell your team, hey, here's my goal, what I'm trying to achieve in the next 6 months, and here's my plan on how to get there. And this way, you get this peer pressure, like everyone is holding you accountable, so you have to deliver on it because you want to serve as a good role model for your team. So you would really try hard to follow your plan and deliver on the learning outcome that you want to do. The third answer is that it's important to keep up to date with the latest and greatest technologies out there. And this particular person who's giving this advice, he said, I'm too busy. I probably don't have time to read every single paper from all the top conferences. But I do have time to read maybe the top 10 papers from each top tier conference. So I would follow some of the bloggers, some of the key researchers and see what are the top papers from each conference that's relevant to my field, and I'll read those papers. This is what I do to keep up to date with the latest and greatest technologies. The next question we get is moving across teams and disciplines. At some point in your career, earlier or later, usually people come up with the question of, should I move team or should I change a discipline? I'm currently program manager, do I want to be a data scientist? Or I currently work on a platform team, do I want to move on a product team? Those are very valid questions. So how do these panelists and successful professionals suggest us approaching these problems? The first answer we got is that it's important to frame the common ground between your new role and your old role. understand the problem space for your new role, and identify what can be solved using the skill sets you gained from your old role. So basically looking for a common place between the two and pivot. Maybe pivot the domain, but the methodology is something you're familiar with. Or maybe pivot the methodology, but the domain is something you are familiar with, so that there's something unique that you can bring to the table. The second answer is that people in different roles or teams may not speak the same language. As a result, it's very important to be able to bring everyone to the same page and establish a common goal. And the third answer we got is, as you join a new team or transition to a new role, you need to really understand the pain points of the team and the people you're working with. In addition, you must also understand the most important things to solve. That includes evaluating whether the problems that people have brought to your attention are solvable. If they are not, then you need to bring it up and help the team frame it properly using the skill sets that you already have. So this resonates with the first answer as well. You need to be really confident in the skill sets that you already have and adapt to the new team by applying your old skills. Don't just throw them away. They're transferable, they're applicable to new domains, and that's the unique value add you can bring to a new team. And the fourth answer we got is actually from this book, An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth. It's a very fun read, very interesting book, highly recommend. And in this book, the author discusses that when someone is new to a team, they can be a +1, a -1, or a 0. Oftentimes, we give ourselves a hard time when we join a new team, and we try very hard, super eager to become the +1. However, it's important to know that it's okay to just be a 0. It is okay, and give yourself a peace of mind and be a 0, and at the same time learn and understand the context of the new team, and then shine and become a +1. So here's all the learnings we got from a career growth perspective. And now I want to share some learnings we got from building the women data science community ourselves at Microsoft. So in the past 4 years, as we were nurturing and growing our own community from 0 to 800 members, here are some key learnings we got. The first is that we need to be proactive in communicating with our community members. So in our case, we have a Teams channel, Microsoft Teams channel. In it, we publish announcements for upcoming events. We share surveys and call for participation. We share opportunities of publications and speaking at different forums. And we also see people posting job openings in the Teams channel. And some people also post technical questions they have in the Teams channel. So we make it very easy for them to post anything in this community so that they can keep engaged with the conversation and the forums, and also feel a sense of belonging and safety. Another thing is setting up rhythm. So in our case, we have workshops twice a year. We have panelist events 3 times a year. We do new mentorship program matching twice a year. So all these things have a pretty solid cadence so that our community members know what to expect from the community. And the third is, even though we call ourselves the women data science community, we're not just about women. We welcome all different genders. We welcome all different disciplines. So women are welcome. Women allies, supporters are also welcome. Data scientists are welcome. Program managers, software engineers, marketing, sales, they're all welcome. Maybe they're interested in learning how to do data science. Maybe they're interested in learning how to transition into a data scientist role. Maybe they're interested in understanding what are data scientists thinking about so that they can work better with data scientists. All of them are welcome to join our community. The fourth is we need to listen to what our community members want really carefully. So after every single event we host, we would send out surveys asking for their feedback. What did we do well? What did we not do well? What are some things you want to hear in future events? And we usually get very honest and genuine feedback from our community members, and we try very hard to fulfill their needs in future events. Last but not least, it is critical to get strong leadership support. We were very lucky to have super supportive management chains. My manager, my skip level, they're super supportive for us running the women data science community on Microsoft. And they give us great ideas, help us make great connections. Without their support, it's impossible to drive the community to this scale. Some closing thoughts to share with the great WITS community members here. Some little advice that we have is that the first is, don't be afraid to share your thoughts. Sometimes we as females, we may be shy in meetings, in conferences, and we tend to shy away from speaking up. We may think, maybe everyone else knows the answer, why would I ask to interrupt the flow? Usually that's not the case. Chances are a lot of other people in the room also have the same question as you do. So it's okay to ask a question. And usually when you ask a question, you'll find half of the people in the room also feel relieved and said, oh my God, I wish, I'm so thankful that you asked this question because I have the same question. It's totally fine. Second is ownership mentality. You really got to own this thing. If you see an opportunity, grab it. If you see a problem, solve it, right? I really get impressed when people come to me, not just with a problem, but come to me with a problem and the proposed solutions they have. The third is push yourself out of the comfort zone. I know this has been talked about so many times over and over again, but trust me, it feels so hard when you're trying to push yourself out of the comfort zone that sometimes you shy away from doing it, but it feels so good after you achieve what you thought you would not be able to achieve. That amazing feeling, I hope you all get it. And the fourth is, it's okay to say, I don't know. Like, data science is a very broad space. Business is a very broad space. Something that some other people is super familiar with, you may have no idea about. And the same way, vice versa. It's okay to just say, I don't know, and can you help me understand more? Or I don't know, but I'm happy to figure it out and get back to you. It's okay. And last but not least, data science is a fascinating area. Come join us, come join the data science crew and work in this fascinating area in the next foreseeable future. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me through my LinkedIn. Happy to connect with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary. Thank you. That was insightful. That was a lot. I'm sure a lot of people have been following up, and we have a lot of questions for you. This was actually pre-recorded because of the time difference. We really appreciate it. And she's on right now to answer our questions. So if you still have questions, please put them down in the chat. Mary, are you here? Can you turn on your speaker? Would you make me a co-host right about now? Oba, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Mary's on the call. Hi, Mary.
Mary?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Mary. Thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to join this group.
Yeah. We really enjoyed your video. That was an awesome one. Thank you very much. We have a few questions for you.
Sure.
Okay. So this is from Shima Adlan. Sorry if I'm not getting this spelling, but I can't pronounce it right. She says, I believe storytelling is a fundamental skill to convince stakeholders about the result. What do you recommend on this regard?
You're absolutely right. Storytelling is so key, it's so fundamental skill. not just to convince stakeholders, just to work with your partners on a day-to-day basis, making sure that everyone is on the same page, working with people around you, getting buy-ins, getting support. It's so critical. And I think the way to do it is first that you need to, there are a lot of books out there about how to manage communications, how to make sure everyone's on the same page, how to do program management, project management. I think pick a couple books out there that would be really helpful. Another thing is really just treat other people the way you want to be treated. Think about if you were in their shoes, what are some things that you want to be notified? If you were in their positions, what are some things that you would appreciate knowing? And think about if you were on the other party's perspective, what are some things that's important to their success? And really think about success from a team's and project's perspective instead of an individual success. I think that will help you figure out what are the things that you need to do, what are the things that you need to communicate and bring to the table.
Thank you so much, Mary. Shima, I hope this answers your question. If not, you can always reach out to Mary through our LinkedIn. Also, I've been having people message me privately regarding some questions. Sorry, I'm trying to get it. Oh, okay. Messi here says, she didn't get the name of the book that you recommended during your video. Mary, could you please tell us the name of the book that you recommended?
Oh, let me find that out.
Okay. Anyways, we would still have we would be sending recordings of this video out to everyone for future reference to. Okay, Mary, while you find out, we also have another question from Joyce. She says, "Hello, Mary. Do I need a degree to be a data analyst?"
It depends on the company. It depends on which company you want to work for and what rules they have in terms of recruiting and hiring process. But in general, at Microsoft, there are people with and without degree. And I assume by degree, you mean a data science degree or a data related degree. That's absolutely not needed. Like we have people with degrees in finance, we have people with degrees in economy, we have people with degrees in physics. People come from very diverse background to data science discipline or data analyst discipline. So you absolutely don't need a data related degree. We also have something called LEAP program, LEAP program, and that is used to help people without very strong degrees or who have not been in the workforce for many years to come back to the workforce. So Microsoft would provide you with, I think, a 3 months or something like that training program where you take classes and also do projects with other people, and you work with different Microsoft teams during the time, and that can help you transition into the discipline.
Thank you very much, Mary, for that response. Joyce, I hope that answers your question. Messi, yes, Mary has dropped the book she recommended in the chat box. You can check it out. The title is An Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth by Chris Hadfield. So everybody else, you can check it out in the chat box. Okay. Mary has responded to Joyce. Okay, Mary, we have another question here. Did you face any difficulty or obstacles as regards equality, and how were you able to manage that?
Very luckily, personally, I have not. I've been having very supportive management chains. I've been having very supportive and inclusive teams. So I've personally had a very good experience at Microsoft. And I hope you all know that Microsoft has made a very big and strong investment in making sure that the culture at the company is diverse and is inclusive. So it's like the leaders really take it to heart, and you feel it in a day-to-day basis. I think years ago, when there was no such culture movement, it's very common. Well, I shouldn't say it's very common, but it happens in meetings when you just get knocked over. People would interrupt you, or whoever is the loudest in the room sort of gets the mic. But these days, you really don't see that anymore in meetings. People try hard to be inclusive, to go above and beyond, especially when meetings become hybrid these days. Some people are in the room, some are on the call. People would really pause and say, hey, does anyone have questions? Or if you get interrupted, someone will make sure that you get heard and say, hey, wait a second, Mary was saying something. Can we circle back with her? Like, Mary, what do you want to say? So all those things are, I think, really helping with the equality, being feel that you're respected and treated fairly at workforce. I've also heard of the females that encounter certain problems maybe earlier in their career or in earlier days, and there are a lot of suggestions to them. I think one thing is you got to be really strong. You got to believe in yourself and don't get yourself manipulated by whoever is trying to treat you without respect or unfairly. And usually your manager, hopefully your manager is trustworthy at this point. Hopefully the problem is not your manager. And if that's the case, then you can report to your manager and have a conversation with your manager, get he or she step up to help you, say whatever is the situation that you encountered. And managers are usually very helpful. And if your manager actually is the problem and you don't feel you have a trustworthy relationship with the manager, then you can either reach out to a skip level manager, which is your manager's manager, or you can reach out to HR directly. And HR has tremendous amount of support and materials, resources laid out in this space, helping people to really ensure that the workforce works with respect.
That's nice to know. That's awesome. Thank you very much, Mary. This is another question from Elizabeth. Is there a way to take courses online and have certifications from reputable sources to transit into data science?
Yeah, I wouldn't say degree itself is a hard blocker or something. There's a lot of certificates on Coursera. There are a lot of data science courses on Coursera and a lot of other online course offerings. Definitely taking those things will help you build up your foundation in this discipline. It will help you maybe get interviews. I think a lot of people, even they are data scientists today, they would still be taking some online courses, not necessarily for the certificate, but maybe for example, I work in experimentation a long time, and tomorrow I need to work on a project that focuses on deep learning. And I need to take a couple courses to wrap myself up to understand deep learning well enough so that I can do well in the project. So then I would do that. So people take online courses all the time, and those will be helpful if you want to take data science roles for sure.
All right, so there are courses online for you to take, certainly. Thanks, Mary. Okay, Mary, this is another one from Jessica. She said, hey, Mary, as you have a background in statistics, would you say your degree has affected or improved your day-to-day work?
For me personally, yes. My bachelor was in statistics and financial math, and my master was in finance. And day-to-day work, I focus heavily on experimentation, A/B testing, which is a domain that's heavy in statistics. So I would say yes, my background does help me understand what I'm working on and help me quickly learn about what I need to learn when there's a need. But there are also a lot of people whose background has like nothing to do with their day-to-day work. There are people on our team who is a successful senior data scientist focusing on Bayesian analysis these days. His background was in law. He was a lawyer for many, many years before joining our team. That background is not very relevant to like his day-to-day work. But I think the logical thinking, like to your earlier point, the ability to communicate so clearly, the ability to like write reports that everyone understands, all those things still remains. Like you got to leverage the skill sets that you already have when you are pivoting your career into a different the discipline or a domain. We have many examples like that, where your earlier positions are not data scientist, or your earlier positions are, or your background, education background is not data science, and they are very successful in data science discipline now.
Thank you very much, Mary. So Shima says, thanks for highlighting gender equality in tech industry. Okay, we have another question from Faith. She says, how can someone who has no work experience transition into data analytics after completing several online courses and programs in the field?
Depending on the program and the company, again, like it really differs from company to company. And for Microsoft, I think you can just check out the career website Microsoft hosts, or if there are recruiting ambassadors in your area for your school, I think talking to them would be the easiest and most straightforward way, because they have all the resources that's needed for you to find the most relevant jobs at Microsoft, and they can help you navigate how to do the career transition as well.
Thank you, Mary. Faith, I hope that answers your question. We have come to the end of Mary's questions. Thank you so much, Mary, for coming on here. We really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your knowledge with everybody.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Yeah, we will. Thank you.